Hello.
Welcome back.
Greetings.
I
So,
interrupted.
we have departed.
I interrupted Zentropy to take our break. So, what's going on?
We're going to
okay, so
visit your dad without you.
The three ships leave, headed west, and the research vessel continues on in an as yet unknown course. Edwin, was there anything you wanted to get started?
Yeah, Edwin immediately gets started researching the artifact. Like, he gets takes it down there. Like, he's probably already examined most of the symbols on there during the month-long trip through the organization's island. And there's probably a whole bunch of symbols he wrote down that he needs to look up the exact meaning of. So he goes and does that.
Okay. Yes, you want to test symbology on it?
Sure.
Okay. So you go down into the main research lab, which is basically the hold of the ship that's been converted. What do you do with the artifact while you're looking through books?
I think Edwin has there's probably this one table for reading, and Edwin has some kind of, I think a couple of bookends, and maybe they've been carved a little bit, so you can just slap the artifact down on there, so as you can just see it from every angle while you're researching it.
Okay, so when you set it down and begin looking through the books, three other people start they're not touching the artifact, but they're all standing around it, scratching their beards. Yes, and just
oh sure,
taking it in.
They can totally do that all they want. At this point, Edwin isn't going to be paranoid. They can steal the artifact from him. If they wanted to do that, there were how many guys with swords up there?
Most of the guys with swords were actually on the other. Were on the other ship.
Yeah, but they could have all came on this boat, and they could have mobbed Edwin and took this.
Yeah, on this boat, you haven't seen a lot of people that are armed, but there are some.
Right.
There seems to be a security force of some type.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so Edwin isn't super concerned. He assumes all these people have been vetted by the organization, and at the moment, he feels he has to trust them. I think that Nico's winning of the Duel of Fates, Duel of Wits, is still guiding Edwin's analysis of the situation. So he's not going to just take the artifact and run. It's theirs. They've given it to him. They're not going to change their mind. So he just leaves it there for him to look at, and he starts this research. So there's symbology.
Yeah, so when you sit down and start researching, one of the guys that's looking at it looks over to you and he's like, "We have several research assistants that you at your disposal. If you'd like them to help with anything, just feel free to direct them however you wish."
Okay. So Edwin, I guess he just takes his notes and he goes over with the artifact. He points at each symbol in his notes. And he points it at the artifact, at where it is in the artifact. And then he he hasn't had this book bound yet, so he just takes out the paper out of this folder and hands it to a guy. And then he does this for each symbol. And on it is a crude sketch of the symbol and some ideas about maybe where you've seen it before, where you could research about it. What other cultures it has similar style to? And there's probably this thing is covered with symbols. And Edwin wasn't able to have access to all his books on stuff on the boat. So there's quite a bit of research to be done.
Okay. So yeah, if you're handing that stuff out, they're going to help you with a +2 on your roll.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Look at what I can fork in. Can I fork in sorcery-wise?
Yes. Just so you know, the ob for this with symbology is 8.
Ooh. All right.
I'm a little curious what the actual intent here is. Like, I know the task. The task is researching, right? But
yeah, is your intent just to figure out what the symbols mean?
All right. At this point, I feel like it's like we're just trying to understand what the writings are. Like, it could be instructions. It could be history. We don't know yet.
Okay, so your intent is to try to read the symbols?
Right.
Okay.
And hopefully, like, the symbols will have some clue about, like, what else we could research to figure out how to use it.
All right. So yeah, as far as forks go, I mean, right in the book, ancient and obscure history, doctrine, or sorcery are forkable for symbology.
Okay. How about research?
Oh yeah. That's pretty much forkable for anything you're doing in this.
Okay. Is there any, like, ancient language on there? Or is it all just symbology?
There are no discernible words. I mean, these symbols might have been words at one point, but right now there's no Rosetta Stone for this. So.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and roll it. I have +7. I'm not gonna spend any persona. I only have 2, so I failed
What?
that. I only have
Got
1
6 and
6.
3 1s. Wow.
Do you want to fate that 6? See if
I'm
you can
going
get
to
2
fate that 6. I don't have much faith that I'll roll a 6, but no, failed by 1.
Just barely though, and
just boy.
And you can totally blame that on your helper, because the last 2 die. Like the last 2 die, one of them failed.
Yeah. So 2 of your 3 helpers are perfectly fine, but that last guy, he's just useless.
Yeah. So yeah, you feel like you're making headway. Like you get these symbols all sorted out, and like you sort of know what they mean, but together they just don't make any sense.
Okay.
Like you can't figure out how all of these symbols fit together to form a coherent thing.
So this looks like a bunch of letters that are mixed up and don't mean anything right now.
Yeah. So we'll probably need to, like, do something that would change the situation now, since I failed it. So
But you definitely feel like you're on the cusp of something. There's several allusions to heat that you can pick up from this, but other than that, you're like, it's something about warmth. It's just not making any sense.
All right, well, I think a few, like, how much time is each of these rolls taking?
A while.
Right.
Yeah. Unless the situation changed, we just make 1 roll, right?
Right, so I have to change the situation in order to get another roll. So I think that we're in the hot part of the county, of the world. You want to go back to the other map, and we'll see where we are?
it's still winter, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there is no really warm part of anything right now, and you're not quite sure where you are. I mean, if you want to determine that, there's ways, but
You're just in the middle of in the ocean, basically, somewhere.
I could probably figure out where he is, but I left.
Right.
We're all gone. You should maybe ask like whoever's driving this boat.
Yeah, like I asked the guy, where are we? I asked the helpers, like, I think I felt that the artifact reacts differently depending on, the closer we got to Cadenfell. Do you know where we are? It might.
No, the guy says
cause the artifact to react.
No.
They don't know.
Yeah, the guy says that last he knew they were headed northwest. Or I'm sorry, northeast.
Well, it's like towards the continent. What? You guys crazy?
Yeah, like departing from Dovan, you were headed on a course like this.
Okay.
But it may have changed.
But that's just asking the research assistant, not like the captain who's driving the boat, right? Okay.
Yep.
Right, so Edwin will try and track down someone on the boat who actually knows this. And try to explain that where we are might affect, like, how potent the artifact is and what kind of information we can get out of it.
Okay. So yeah, you track down some ship hand, and he basically tells you that we were headed northwest when we left the island. The captain likes to make sure that no one's following us, so we take circuitous routes.
Okay.
And actual current knowledge of where the boat is only given after we dock, so that if anyone is tortured for information or gets drunk and starts, blabbing, they know what not to say.
Okay.
And this is actually, there's a real world analog to this. People on submarines, this is what happens. You aren't told where you go, but when you dock, they tell you where you went. So that way you know what not to say. If you're if you're making up some story, you don't accidentally tell the truth.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. So Edwin will try and talk to the captain in private. Is there an opportunity for that? Like, can I bug him in his quarters at night or something?
Yeah. There would be an opportunity. You're allowed run of the ship, so
okay.
I mean, they don't want to piss you off.
Right. So Edwin intrudes apologetically on the captain and explains to him that he understands the importance of security, but if they could maybe circumnavigate Cadenfell, it might help his research.
Okay. Yeah, he says, he was told that any request you make is to be taken under advisement.
Okay.
And, he will do his best.
I also suggest we might need to get this artifact ice cold at some point. So if there's an opportunity for us to dock at one of those icebergs, we should take it.
He sort of squints at you a little bit and says, "Oh, okay."
Okay. So Edwin will leave the captain alone and go back to his research. Okay. So I can't roll symbology again.
It should be noted that you are, you were told that this boat is going to take you to another research lab.
Oh,
and
sure.
They're going to keep you moving. So different research labs, they might be different enough that
sure,
that you could make the same roll again. But it changes the situation because it changes the information available.
But there's no reason to not do anything until we get there.
Well, you're probably just continuing to do that. It's not, this single test probably takes the entirety of your trip. So
does it?
That's what it would, I think.
That was my assumption. This would have been at least days.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's
several
just
days.
For the rest of the trip, you just keep trying without successfully getting a breakthrough, but you can tell you're super close.
Okay.
That's the role for this leg of the journey.
Oh, that's fine. That's right. I wasn't sure how you wanted to do it. Okay.
All right. So while the research is going on, the other two, you manage to make it through some fairly shitty weather, and end up in Polyvore Harbor. When you get there, there's already a ship flying the flag of the Swords of the Phoenix, and you're greeted on the docks by a rather portly-looking guy. He's got it's an older gentleman. He's got all white hair, really fuzzy, like puffy mutton chops, great big belly. Picture, the English hunter in a pith helmet, that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, the safari hunter. He's got that kind of look to him.
The villain from Jumanji.
Yeah, but 250 pounds.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So he comes up to greet us.
Yeah, he comes up and says, "You must be the men that were sent with our reinforcements." And he extends his hand out to whoever makes it up to him first.
I think
I take it.
Forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Sorta steps forward, and then you just
intercede and shake
cut him
the
off.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I go Field Marshal Wiggins, I presume.
Quite right. Yes. You'd be the privateer, would you?
That's an apt description.
Jolly good. Jolly good.
I believe. I think I reach into whatever it is and get the little scroll I was supposed to give him, and go. I think our orders are contained within.
The letter of introduction. Excellent. Thank you. This will go a long way to getting our soldiers off the docks. They haven't let us disembark. These Nugnians, they're rather suspicious lot. Well, I suppose anyone would be when there's 300 swords clocked off your coast.
Yes.
And he looks at both of you and says, "No sense in standing around here, lads. Let's off to the castle, see if we can convince this Whalefson person to let us do our job for him."
I nod silently, and I'm still very quietly grumbling about Matron under my breath. I think I gesture for I probably ask the leader of the sword. What is it? Sword of the Phoenix.
Swords of the Phoenix.
Swords of the Phoenix.
I'd probably ask the leader guy. I can't remember his name to come with us as a representative.
I was under or is this the guy you had the conversation with on the ship originally?
Yeah, him.
Okay.
The guy who hates content.
I was kind of assuming Wiggins was somewhat in charge of that, or is that separate from the organization?
Wiggins is in charge of the mercenaries.
Okay.
The leader of the mercenaries, however, is the one that he was talking to.
Yeah. So
do not have
Wiggins is the guy who hired him, and
okay.
No, Wiggins was the guy that was put in charge. Yeah. Of them.
Okay.
So
he's the organization head of the army.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was about. I was about to ask, as the player, Wiggins is sort of the organization front guy for us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So
let me
pull up with this, and I think the four of us might head off to the castle.
Yeah. And we'll call the leader of the swords Teague. His name is Teague.
Awesome.
Okay.
So you guys head up onto the castle. Wiggins throws his weight around, huffs and puffs a bit. You hear a lot of, and he's got one of those walrus mustaches, and it always wiggles around whenever he gets a little flustered.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So yeah, eventually you make it into the castle. He hands over the note to a clerk. You guys are present for an audience with Lord Waleson Senior, and yeah, they hand over the letter from Edwin. The Senior looks at it, recognizes his son's handwriting or his signature in the signet, and says, "No, I don't. Oh, he's Russian, isn't he? Okay, yes, he is.
Yeah, what does he look like? I'm very curious.
Yeah, what does he look like? What's your father look like, Edwin?"
So I've been imagining him kind of like Ned Stark. Like he has like this dark hair and beard and looks very strong and Russian.
Stern and
And
matronly?
since he's played by Sean Bean, he's probably going to die.
I just started watching Legends last night. It's a CIA thing that Sean Bean's in. He hasn't died yet. I'm only 3 episodes
My
in, but he
fingers are
hasn't died yet.
crossed, and he won't die here either. Like he's my dad. I
couldn't
care
past
about my
episode
dad.
3.
Man. Awesome. But he's he's a Russian Ned Stark. Awesome.
So he looks at he's got like furs on and everything since it's winter. He looks at the thing and he says, "Duh. Looks like my son finally did something useful. Not like digging around in holes like he normally does." And he looks at Wiggins and says, "You are allowed to do what he says you must. But please, take your soldiers and skirt them around my city. I don't want the citizens here to get the wrong impression. The war has not come to my city yet, and I don't want to cause any panic."
Sir, your majesty, may we speak with your generals about the war and get a read on the situation? Work with them?
Of course, I will have my generals assembled in the war room, and you and your friend over here, your portly man, can confer with them.
I nod. I don't think I have
we do
anything
not
to say.
have we do not have much information from Mathsquad, unfortunately. We have sent several scouting parties, but only a couple have come back.
And what did they report, your majesty?
Well, the last one come back peppered with arrows, so obviously Archer. But yeah, I am kept apprised of broad strokes. My generals, they will know.
Ernest just nods and steps back and probably lets the portly man do most of the talking.
Yeah. So yeah, they exchange pleasantries and everything. Wiggins seems to know his way around a court. So yeah, that exchange goes well with them.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I'm Ernest and myself are just sort of waiting to be led to the war room so he can be where he's comfortable. He's not.
Yeah. So later that
court thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Later that day, you're led into the war room. There's a map that looks strikingly like this one that's in front of you.
Lines drawn on it, different pins.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and you're basically told. Wiggins comes over and he pulls a couple of little statues out of his pocket, and he places them down over next to Polyavart, and says that they will that represents the force that you're bringing in. There's 2 battalions of heavy foot, 2 battalions of archers and unit of cavalry. He doesn't think the cavalry will be much use yet,
until we get past the mountains.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's always good to have. The generals give you the information that they have. They know that there is at least a fortified unit of archers within Pathaskew, and they know that they have a couple hundred heavy foot within the town itself.
I guess Matrim kind of nods about some of this stuff, and he goes, I am a sailor. This is a bit out of my wheelhouse.
Wiggins looks to you, Matrim, and says, "Oh, of course, mountains and whatnot. Yes, your role will probably come in afterwards. You see, we're not just taking Pathaskew back; we're taking Bryansk. Those bastards will never think. Those bastards will never think that we'll be coming after them after we beat them back."
Indeed, they won't. Now, have you all formulated a plan to attack Pathaskew and retake it yet?
Wiggins says, "I've spent weeks going over the maps. If we can make it through the mountains unaccosted, I do believe that we'll be able to press into Pathaskew proper without much resistance."
And how long does it take to get through the mountains unaccosted?
Let's see here. 30-mile march. Do a couple days.
Well, I'm thinking we might siege the place. See, I've been to Pathaskew quite a few times. Their main product is trade. I think we have some boats with some people. I think we might want to go around the mountains, cut off the trade routes. They don't have much agriculture. It's all just shipped to them. Starve them out. Like Ernest just explains basically that we send probably half of the soldiers over to like here, and then the others stay there and basically do a siege / pincer attack combination. So that's what he's thinking.
So you're saying like move them around to this?
Yeah, because we have boats. Yeah.
Okay.
So just take all of that. Probably the horsemen and archers probably, and then 2 of the heavy footmen and the other archers stay here. But the horsemen and archers together can probably handle the more open areas that's over there on the other side of the mountains.
That seems very logical.
So, yeah, that's what I suggest.
Yeah, he sees the merit in that plan. The generals sort of agree, but they don't really have a dog in this fight. It's not their men that are going to be at risk.
Okay. Actually, I kind of do want to press them on that because it's their land that's being taken. So I think Ernest just says things.
Yeah, until this point, they really didn't have enough of a mustered force to push back into Pathaskew.
Okay. And do these forces that we have on the screen, they represent just the Swords of the Phoenix? Or
the green ones are, yes,
okay.
are the Swords of the Phoenix.
So so far they haven't talked about their own forces at all.
No, they have not.
Okay, so I want to press them on that. Like, what are you doing with your forces? And yeah, that's what we're just gonna do.
Yeah, actually, give me a. Do you have strategy as a?
I have tactics, not strategy.
Tactics?
Yeah, I have tactics.
Yeah, you want to.
Those are different.
They are different. Tactics is more first, battles, and tactics and strategy is more for like large scales like this. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure if tactics are applicable.
This sounds like strategy to me.
It does.
I had just looked it up, but then I closed the book.
Let me just see what tactics says here.
Uh,
Knowledge of how to use small groups of soldiers to maximum effect on the battlefield. Okay, so that's more
In the
units
battle,
instead of
yeah.
battalions, and
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
bullshit.
so- a plan of attack, order of battle is an OB4 strategy test.
Yep.
302. Apparently you could fork tactics.
you can fork tactics, so that makes sense, but you can't just use tactics for this. So yeah, I just like ask him like what's he doing with his forces?
The generals of Termanugnia, or of Pathasku rather. They're not as committed yet. If they could be, they're waffling a bit. It would probably take them some convincing to fight with you.
Okay. I think I just try to give Matron like a look, like I do need your help to convince these guys. But, like as soon as they say that, how do you react, or do you understand that?
I don't know. You give me a look, but this is to help with what?
You are a better speaker than I am. I want to
Mhm.
help you convince these guys to commit to taking the Pathasku back.
Okay, so
I might even like whisper that in your ear if that look isn't enough.
well, no,
Yeah,
no. You could say you give me a look, but I'm the player asking what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. The soldier, like I'm pressing.
Because
like what
right
happens
now
is that
it's just the mercenaries who are doing this.
right now we've only talked with the mercenaries, and then I ask them like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, we're sort of just hanging back, seeing what's happening." Then they just give you a look, like really when it comes to them. Yeah, and then I clearly want you to step in and start talking about how.
Does Matrim know
idea.
the Pathasku town is like the seating point for Edwin?
Yeah, I probably learned that.
Probably, yeah.
Let Edwin
Okay.
inform us.
So I'd probably say something like, surely the seat for the heir is important enough for your own citizens to defend it with the help of such professionals as we have.
Indeed. I can tell from you all that you all are seasoned soldiers. I think you are very capable of doing this with minimal losses.
Okay.
Even without our help. We're just here to
And I think
confirm
I
your
sort
victory.
of he would do this. All right. He kind of trails off, and he's like, otherwise, I'm sure there may be many valuable things in the town for which we can make sure the enemies don't get.
All right, so
Yeah.
you're basically implying that when you take the town, you're gonna sack everything that's valuable there, and then they can have the husk.
Well, you're basically saying, yeah.
It's implied.
It's more of a they will. That's how it's
All
said.
right.
They will sack the town if we don't. Get
And maybe it's a good idea to have people there who will tell us not to do that.
All right, yeah, let's see if you guys can convince the generals of this.
So I'm saying that's extortion.
Yeah, that's pretty much
I'd like
extortion.
to help with soldier wise again.
Okay.
All right. Can I fork in persuasion at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll be their will, which is 4.
Okay.
And you're helping me with one, Ernest?
Soldier-wise, it's just one right now for me.
This wasn't really intimidating. This was more of bribery, right?
I think this was more bribery. Yeah, I don't think we ever intimidated
really
them. Like
bribe.
I don't think
Yeah.
they felt threatened.
I'm not
themselves.
I'm not threatening. Well, I am threatening, but
Well,
You're
there is an implied threat, but I think that's the extortion. I don't
Okay.
think
that's the extortion. It's a
I'm
different
just trying to figure out if I could fork in intimidation.
Intimidation is more violent threat.
Only if you directly said, if you don't help us, we're gonna take your shit, and you'll be
Okay.
lucky to get the town back.
Right.
Yeah.
I was not that explicit.
Enemies, yeah, that quickly.
So I have a fork of persuasion, and I have Ernest soldier-wise for fork. Okay, so that's 2.
My soldier-wise.
Martha. And the op was 4, you said?
4, yep.
Uh-oh.
Boo. Yeah, they look
got a 6.
Oh. Yeah, he did.
I'll spin a fate. I'll spin a fate. Let me see here.
The stream went
6.
down for some reason. I'm trying to figure out why.
Oh, is it down now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hold on. Did it again. Let me reset the transcoder.
Another success, so we only failed by 1, which is decent.
What? What happened to the thing?
So our intent was to get them to commit more soldiers, so we didn't get that.
Yeah, they're basically going to say that they're going to hang back, and once you prove that you can actually do something, then maybe they'll help you.
Yeah. And they probably say something like, "What if the city's attacked while all of our soldiers are gone? Then we lose the entire kingdom." Or something.
That's their reasoning. Is there could be an end run on Polyaborat while you're sieging Pathaskew.
I think also because of the manner of which I tried to convince them that the mercenary group probably does not have a very favorable view with Pathaskew people right now.
Yeah.
Right, that's true, because like Edwin has just been bringing like treasures and selling them in the market, and it's probably like that. You're probably not the only one. It's like a trade hub, and so it's probably like this wealthy town that everyone is like just looking at because it's so shiny. They want it. Or they want what it has. So
okay.
So I haven't explicitly been told not to loot the town.
While we're in this sort of downtime waiting for the stream again, I did that because of my predatory trait.
Okay.
Does that count, or was I not?
You haven't gotten in trouble yet. Yeah.
Right. I don't know how that.
It compounds your problem.
Okay.
Definitely. When we get to the roll for, getting Pathaskew back, if you guys lose by a little bit, definitely you've got in trouble for it.
Okay. Right. I just don't know if
that would have been more help for the roll.
The story enough. Yeah. Okay. It was one of those things. Like I'm looking at my skills and I'm like, nope. He would not do it the nice way.
If you take Pathaskew back and the rest of the time is just spent looting the shit out of the town, you change the story.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like I was telling the truth. I warned you. Like you didn't commit soldiers. We were too late, and the other soldiers took all of your stuff. Just don't look behind you. We're sacks of gold.
That ship laden with gold sailing out of the river. That's not mine.
What?
Technically, that is not my ship.
Exactly. Technically correct is the best kind of correct, especially in medieval times with medieval laws.
Right.
168.254.47. Let's do it again.
So yeah, if that roll had gone well, though, you probably would have gotten another
Couple
Right.
things.
another unit
I
of
think we're back.
heavy.
Are we back?
Maybe?
Oh, are we
Possibly.
back? Let me look at the stream
Okay.
as well myself. Sterling says yes. We are back.
Okay, great.
We're back.
Welcome back, us.
Sorry about... I don't know.
Right, so I'm not
Basically,
sure
I'm
what,
using a transcoding server, and for some reason, OBS decided to stop talking to it, and then I had to type in the IP address manually.
Huh.
Infernal
Weird.
technology.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure where we left off, or where the stream crashed with Matchroom trying
Tell
to
them
convince...
about Tell them about the sack.
What
Uh,
happened?
Yeah. So Matchroom was trying to convince the leaders of Pathsquad to commit some forces so that both the seat of the heir's power stays, but also so that this fine mercenary group can not procure many of the valuables from the town to make sure they're all safe. He made that roll and I believe failed by 1, so
Yep.
something interesting might happen. I think we're still talking about that though.
Yeah. So the generals have pretty much said to you that you make sort of a convincing argument, but they don't want to leave Polyaborat undefended. There might be more troops sailing around the island as we speak. So they're not committed to helping you yet, but if you prove yourselves capable, that you might receive some help later.
All right. Then I think the rest of the time, probably the entire rest of the day, or maybe even 2 days, like the rest of this day and all of tomorrow, is spent like planning out, learning about like the what the best plan is, getting their advice.
Okay.
And
So yeah, with your strategy thing there, why don't we do a link test that'll lead up to the battle?
Okay.
It'll be you planning out this siege strategy with Wiggins and
Matrim and the generals.
Matrim and a couple other people. So you'll have 2 die of help at least.
Okay.
Matrim, if you have anything you can add.
Well, is this still with this sort of like pincer attack thing where like we go up here and then over and stuff?
Does anyone have I think that's a good plan as a player.
Well, that's what I was asking. Like, is that what the linked test is doing?
It's you and everybody else standing above this map, strategizing how to move the troops into those positions.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like if they do that, it's like the sort of the pushing the tiles around. Like if they do this, then what would those people do as a response?
Okay.
So
It's the plan. It's not the execution of.
Yeah.
No,
It's just you guys sitting there with the little shuffleboard things, pushing the
Right.
pushing the stuff around.
If I'm not sure exactly right now, but maybe looking at this and maybe like consulting some other charts or maps of the area, he could figure out a best way to navigate the river up and where a good landing spot could be.
Yeah.
And that could be
that
could be what the contribution Matchroom has. That's what I would like it to be.
Yeah. Sure. And yes, I will give all players control of the green tokens.
A couple things around. Since horsemen are not very useful on mountains, I plan to have 2 heavy footmen on the right and the horsemen and archers on the left. For example, because if there's a big trade road that goes there, guess what's good on that? Horses.
Yeah, there's a trade route. Let me freehand something.
So let's see. Probably like that. That.
Yeah, there's a road that goes through here. And you said it went up to the sea, right? Will? Like that?
Yeah, it was like that, and then it went
that's pretty
forward
close.
and then split off to the following the river. Because one went off to the sea, and one then split off and went, like, through here, all the way to there, right?
Oh yeah, I
there's
would
probably
say.
there would definitely be a road down to the pass there.
Might go.
Yeah.
Might go all the way down to the bottom. Like this whole jungly land might also be farmland.
I don't see any like if there was that much farms, it would be like a city or something. I don't know if it would go like that. Maybe just following the river, and there's like a small village at the river delta that is also like an exporter off of the island. So people that it's an obvious one to go to because you can also go up the island and down it, or up the river rather and down it.
Yeah.
So I think just following that might be best.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's probably on the other side of the river because I don't know if the path to Skew's territory actually extends past the river. Probably not.
Well, the thing is that a lot of the trade is coming, like, freehand is going this way, and so you'd either turn right before entering the path askew, or keep going and enter it. So I think it makes sense that's on the other side of the river, like the far side from us.
Remember, there's also there's going to be some exports down here too. It's just not a city.
Damn it. Wrong color.
Like there's no
We're gonna
city.
put in 2 roads. Best of both worlds.
Yes, more roads.
We're going to come up here and stay here. And then the good news about this is that it will be harder to break the siege because they have a river behind them, which means that it's very difficult for them to get for any soldiers that attack to get to them from across the river. Without just getting mowed down by archers, at least.
Did you turn the grid on?
So, the grid is on.
The grid is on, yeah. I can turn it off if it makes it easier.
Turn it off would be better, yeah, because we don't need it for any of the stuff that we have right now.
There you go.
Oh, I see. Okay, there we go. Because, yeah, it's like...
So I think this is our plan, and then just working it out in character is the next thing.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so that is the plan that you're trying to put together. I'm going to get a roll to see how well you put it together.
Yep. Let's see here. So I'll be the one making the roll, I believe. Is that true?
Well, I thought it was a linked test.
That's true. It is a link test.
Yeah,
Would the generals be doing a roll, or are they?
The thing is, the generals know more about strategy than any of us. I would like to defer to them, but I don't know.
I'd rather make it. I'm trying to make this a bit more player centric.
Yeah, I figured.
Since it's your plan, you'll make the roll, but they are helping you, so you get a +2 from one from Wiggins, one from pretty much everybody else in the room, and
strategy is probably perception. I'm assuming strategy is perception based.
Strategy is will, perception. Yes, will or perception.
I'll go 4. So what else? Okay. Well, let's see here. I would like to. So that's an ob 4, right? Normally, because that's creating a plan.
Let's see. Strategy. I mean, it depends on what you're.
To make this plan.
What your intent is. I mean, if you're looking to create a credible threat of force, then it's ob 2. But if you're trying to plan of attack, which this is sort of ob 4.
I think it is. What's ob 3? Because there's something in between, isn't there? Or is there not one?
Assessing a salient point.
Oh, okay.
Which might be right.
If it's a linked test between myself and Nathan,
before you do the roll, though, like, I think it'd be good to sort of figure out what each of the links are, and that could maybe help define what each part is. So, like, I was thinking something with, like, figuring out how all the boats could get up the river would be something Matcham would add to the conversation, but I'm not sure what else people were thinking about.
It would speed things up drastically. Otherwise, you'd have to have everyone walk or ride on horses all the way up to the road.
Right. Or like, like how many ships we have access to, and how and where they can get up the river and everything.
Yeah, all three of those ships can make it up this river. You could.
So it's not really
you could deposit your entire force like here.
Okay.
It's
The other advantage to this, Wiggins will point out, is that how long is that river? Yeah, is that you could traverse that in a night and get your people up to that crossroads.
Wow.
So
Wasn't expecting it to be that fast.
I mean, it's only 30 miles, so.
Well, in that case, another option is just to do like a farce, basically. Send a single unit of foot soldiers to the front, have them be a distance off, make the city see them, get ready basically on the front. Everyone else then attacks from the back. That's one option. But if it's that quick, that might actually be better.
Yeah,